building a house back there, and then here is we're building a bathroom. So hopefully we'll get some work done today. So it started about 10 years ago. I want to incorporate study abroad into an honors course. I want to do it in a way that's affordable and accessible, right? And then also because I grew up in the Dominican Republic, I said, hey, it's pretty close to get here and be a 1 week. The cost is very reasonable. Often we see a lot of service, especially international service, done in a way it can have more damage to the local community than good. And also often they don't spend time reflecting why they're there. It gotta be more than just you thinking you're doing something good and helping the community. The community really felt that this is necessary, this is required, that's not imposed. That is the thing we try to do prior to their travel, to really think about what is your purpose, what is a takeaway message.
Outside of ethical boundaries for us to come into a community and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We go through a diagnostic process and we determine the needs of the entire community, and they'll tell us what projects to work on.
So for the service portions, we are building homes, fixing bathrooms. We're starting off by cutting wire, which will be the side panels, and then they're lining up bottles, water bottles, Coke bottles, and stacking them to kind of form an insulation, and then we are covering them in cement. We met a family yesterday. They didn't even have running water. The kids had to take horseback down to go get water, which was the reason that a lot of them aren't able to go to school.
We are excited to see once the professionals come in and do the final layer of cement and throw some paint on it, because we were a part of the process, which I think is really cool. It is two-sided. It's not just we're helping them, we're learning from it too, and we're taking away from it too, and I think that's a great way to go into it. It's a reciprocal relationship.
Students are required to journal every day to get that reflective piece going on.
Even though they were living in certain conditions that we wouldn't see as the best, they were still absolutely happy. They were smiling, their kids were smiling, they were very grateful for us being there. The lady, she put on gloves and she started putting cement up. And I remember one of my class members came up to me and she's like, we are supposed to be helping her. And I feel bad that she's having to put in the time, like her energy. I sat with her and I talked to her and I was like, it's okay, like I understand that feeling. She's doing this because she is proud of what she can do and she's proud of who she is. And the Dominican culture, they're very warm and welcoming and they're willing to help and do whatever they can.
We've been having a lot of conversations about the cultural differences, political differences between the United States and what's happening in the Dominican Republic. When we were in Santo Domingo, seeing the Spanish architecture and the Catholic churches, also the traditional plaza of being the city center and its proximity to the church, and then the social life that develops around the plaza is something else that they're really seeing.
Toda la persona en República Dominicana, perfecto. Mucha cosa hermosa, mucha cosa linda acá. Claro.
Students that are Spanish majors or have some fluency before they come, they've been doing really well interacting with local people. Last night there was this really cool moment when I had a student who speaks a little bit of French was starting to interact with some of the drivers who also speak French. And so they're seeing the mixing of the many cultures within Latin America.
I took a class last semester about the Dominican Republic and I fell in love with how their culture and definitely how their race identity works. Not only did I get like a different perspective about a different country and that country's culture, but also more about JMU itself, which I think was a really good experience as well.
So one of the things that the Honors College has been working on over the past 2 or 3 years is that we've implemented a diversity and global engagement component. Students have already met with students from UNIBE online at least 2 times, and so now they're going to be physically meeting them face to face.
As soon as we got in, we went straight to the university. And when we arrived there, the Dominican Republic culture was like, you could see it all there, all the people talking to one another, everyone having fun, laughing, smiling. Like, it was so warm and welcoming, but it was a lot. We all got into 2 separate rooms, one with Dr. Montoya's class and one with Professor Wong's. And we just talked with the professor we had been working with, and some of the students from that university came. And they were so sweet and amazing, and the conversations we had were so interesting because it's so different from the United States, and it was just super surreal to meet them in person.
We went on boats, we separated in 2 different speed boats, and we got to take those over to Isla Sawana, which is the island right off of the Dominican Republic.
I was in the front of the boat, just like with my head sticking out. I loved it.
We got to learn about like the caves and like the culture of the people that lived there. We stopped at a giant sand bar and we got to get out, and I'd never have seen like a giant starfish ever in my life before, but we actually got to like hold them in the water, which was like the coolest thing ever.
The water was beautiful and everything was beautiful. It was all amazing. And we get onto the beach and we see all these houses, and then as they're going over the history of the houses, it kind of set in a little bit that we were in another one of those areas where people don't really have much. And even though they don't have much, they're still so happy, and they do so much that they don't need to do. The dude who ran the turtle sanctuary, yet he goes out every year and saves who knows how many turtle eggs just because he cares.
¿Cómo tú crees que James Madison puede hacer el cambio?
Comenzar, revirtiendo el problema, pero comenzar. Ese es el gran caso. Claro, no tener miedo tampoco. Vas a encontrar todos los obstáculos del mundo. Vas a encontrar un tipo que dice, no, se necesita dinero. Vas a encontrar un tipo que tú vas a estar mal, como lo que está haciendo va a estar mal. Él no va a estar de acuerdo contigo. Pero no, tienes que enfrentarlo y seguir. Porque todo eso aparece. Todavía nosotros tenemos aquí gente que están en contra de lo que hacemos. Sí. Pero claro, no desmayamos. Es para adelante. Así es.
Originally on the island, there were only 7 turtle nests, but now since his process and what he's been doing to help, they've gotten to 500 nests on the island.
It started because he was a fisherman. He was part of the problem, he recognized it, and then said, I want to fix this.
Over the past 3.5, now 4 years, I've had the privilege of working with that group of Valley Scholars that are also Centennial Scholars. We've had a lot of very generous donors, both to Centennial Scholars and to Valley Scholars and also to the Honors College. That is what's made this trip possible.
Neither one of my parents had gone to college, and so I don't take it for granted at all, you know, what an opportunity is to be able to go to college. In 2012, I got sick. I had acute myeloid leukemia. Came within 3 hours of dying. And after all of that, I still didn't know, you know, how long I was going to live, but I knew I wanted to take every opportunity. I booked 2 days of a hotel, and I just thought, well, I'll see what it is. And I ended up staying 6 weeks. That was 6 years ago. Every time I meet a JMU student, I'm impressed. They're so smart and focused, and they want to learn, and more than just books. They want to learn about life. It's just great. I've had ups and downs, right? And I've had bad breaks too, but I've had so many good breaks overall, so many positive things, and JMU was a big part of it. And so I'm more than happy to do this.
I've thought about that a lot. How many people in my family and my life have made sacrifices to allow me to swim in the ocean and eat amazing food and just see beautiful places? A lot of times there's a correlation with travel that you have to have a certain level of wealth. And so the fact that CSP has funded me and been gracious enough to let me come on this trip It just makes me feel very, very grateful, very humbled. The fact that this trip was able to pop up before I graduated is kind of like, this is a payout for all that hard work I had put in.
When I got into Valley Scholars, it allowed me to meet so many people from different cultures and different walks of life. And I really think that's what made me who I am today. And I'm so, so grateful and thankful, not just for the opportunity to go to school, but for the connections I've made, the things I've gotten to do, just for all of it. It is an amazing program, and I wish more people knew about it. I love the program so much, I'm a mentor for the 8th grade students at the middle school I used to go to. I've been able to make my mark on the program that made me.
It was exhilarating.
It's been an eye-opener from beginning to end. The connections that I've made with the people here are something that I don't have with anyone else.
When I'm able to not just help in the communities that I'm a part of, but those around the world, I'm making a deep impact and a wide impact.
I want to come back here this summer and try to do an internship with Dave at 7 Elements so I can help more. We can make a difference.
It was very amazing, and I'm very sad that it was just this short week, but very happy to have done it.
This trip was the best experience that I've ever had in my life.